Elochukwu had known what his mother was planning that evening, he would have turned his car around immediately and driven back to the office. But he knew nothing. Before we begin, besties, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell so that you never miss any of our amazing story. Now, let's continue. As Elo sat in the middle of Lagos traffic, cursing at reckless drivers and pounding his steering wheel in frustration, he had no idea that his peaceful bachelor life was only a few days away from ending. The busy streets of Lagos were as chaotic as ever. Cars honked endlessly. Commercial buses forced their way through narrow spaces. Motorcycles darted between vehicles like they owned the road. The noise was enough to drive anyone crazy. But traffic was not the real problem today. The real problem was the anger burning inside Elo. His heart felt like a pot of boiling water spilling over. Sweat trickled down his face as he gripped the steering wheel tightly. Every horn sounded louder than usual. Every driver seemed more annoying than usual. When a car suddenly swerved into his lane, nearly scraping his bumper, Elo slammed his hand against the steering wheel. "You crazy son of a bitch!" he shouted, leaning on his horn. The driver ignored him and sped away. Elo cursed under his breath. Now, don't even think Elo is crazy. Just this morning, everything had felt different. He had woken up with excitement bubbling inside him. He had carefully dressed in his favorite blue suit, polished his black shoes until they shone, and chosen his best tie. As he drove to work, he even found himself humming along to his favorite song. Today was supposed to be his day. After 8 long years at Blue Sea Company, Elo was certain he would finally get the promotion he had worked so hard for. For months, everyone in the company had treated him like the next sales director. Even junior staff had started congratulating him ahead of time. Whenever discussions about the position came up, people automatically mentioned his name. The promotion practically had his name written on it. Or so he thought. When the announcement finally came, Elo felt as though the ground had disappeared beneath his feet. Yes, he received a generous salary increase. Yes, he also received a huge bonus. But the promotion went to someone else. Someone who had spent fewer years in the company. Someone who had contributed less than he did. Someone Elo himself had trained. The applause in the conference room still echoed painfully inside his head. He could still remember forcing a smile while everybody celebrated around him. He could still remember the pitying looks some colleagues gave him. The memory made his stomach tighten. Money was not what he wanted. He already had enough money. He drove a good car, lived in a comfortable house, wore expensive clothes. What he wanted was recognition, respect, power, a seat among the people who made the important decisions. For 8 years, he had sacrificed weekends, worked late nights, and poured out every ounce of energy into the company. Yet somehow it still wasn't enough. Another motorcycle squeezed dangerously past his car. Elo slammed his horn again. His anger wasn't really directed at the traffic. It was directed at life itself. Finally, after what felt like forever, he arrived at his compound. The quietness around him felt strange after the madness of the road. He parked his car, grabbed his briefcase and walked towards the house. His heart was still heavy. His mind was still trapped inside that conference room. But Elo had no idea that the disappointment waiting for him at home would soon make today's promotion seem less significant. The moment he stepped into the living room, he froze in shock. Ah, Mama, you are here? His eyes widened in surprise. His mother, Ndidi, stood in the middle of the room with her hands folded tightly across her chest. You should have called me. And how was I supposed to call you? Ndidi snapped immediately. When you don't answer your phone. Elo sighed heavily. She was right. Lately, he had been avoiding her calls. Not because he didn't love her, but because every single conversation eventually led to the same topic he hated: marriage. And tonight of all nights, he simply wasn't in the mood. He rubbed his forehead.
Mama, please. Today has been terrible. I really don't have the strength for this.
Of course you're having terrible days. Why won't you have terrible days when there's no woman in your life? Nobody to cook for you, nobody to welcome you home, nobody to rub your back when you're tired, nobody to hold you when you're worried. If that isn't another way of living in hell, then tell me what it is.
Mama, please.
Don't tell me please. Just answer one question. When are you getting married?
Mama, I know you mean well. I know you want what's best for me. But I am not ready yet. My career is not where I want it to be, and...
The prophet was right.
What prophet?
Elochukwu, you are 36 years old. What exactly are you waiting for? Do you want your children to call you grandpa instead of daddy? Do you plan to marry with a walking stick in your hand? Elochukwu, tell me the truth.
Truth about what?
Is it because you can't perform like a man? Is that your problem? Is that thing not working perfectly?
Mama, how can you even think something like that? I am perfectly healthy and strong. I just need more time to save enough money to take care of my family comfortably.
Mama, let's just talk about this tomorrow, okay? There's food in the kitchen. Please eat.
Elochukwu, come back here.
Ndidi was done talking. It was time to take action. Nkonye was a young maiden who had a beauty that was brighter than the morning sun. Her face was smooth and soft, and her eyes shone like stars at night. Whenever she smiled, her smile was so sweet and lovely that even the saddest hearts would feel happy again. The villagers often said that seeing Nkonye was like breathing in fresh air on a cool morning. But it wasn't just Nkonye's beauty that made people love her. Her heart was even more beautiful than her pretty face. She was kind, gentle, and always ready to help anyone in need, whether young or old. Everyone in the village felt special when Nkonye was around. She loved to laugh, play, and share happiness wherever she went. People often wondered if Nkonye ever got angry because they had never seen her upset, not even once. She lived in a small but cozy hut with her parents, who were hardworking farmers. Nkonye had learned to be helpful and respectful from them, and she always made her parents very proud. She was a third child out of five, and though she was neither the oldest nor the youngest, she was definitely the brightest star in the family. Ndidi, Elochukwu's mother, admired Nkonye deeply. Every time she set her eyes on Nkonye, her heart would whisper one wish, that her son Elochukwu would marry this charming girl. She dreamed of having a sweet, caring, and well-mannered daughter-in-law like Nkonye. So when Elochukwu kept refusing to think about marriage, Ndidi, feeling frustrated and worried, couldn't wait any longer. She was tired of waiting for Elo to decide. Nkonye would make a good bride, and she was determined that Elochukwu would marry her. When she returned to the village, she wasted no time in gathering all the elders in the family. Her heart was heavy and filled with worry. She could no longer bear it alone. She sat before them, looking at their wise and calm faces, and then took a deep breath.
Elochukwu has refused to get married. He is my only son. I can't just fold my hands and watch him end his father's lineage. Something must be done. I have decided to find a wife for him myself.
At first, the elders shook their heads and whispered softly amongst themselves. They did not think it was a wise thing for a mother to choose a wife for her grown-up son without his consent. But Ndidi was clever and knew how to speak so sweetly that hearts could change. She reminded them of how important family and children were. She begged them, telling them how much pain she felt seeing her son alone and stubborn about marriage. By the end of the meeting, her words had touched the elders' hearts deeply. They agreed to help her, and together they fixed a day to visit Nkonye's family and ask them if they would agree to the marriage. They would visit them in exactly 2 market days. When Ndidi and her kinsmen arrived at Nduka's compound 2 weeks later, there was great excitement. Nduka and his family welcomed them happily, feeling very proud that their daughter was chosen. To them, marrying a man from the city was like a wonderful dream coming true. Not many people in the village had that kind of chance. Elochukwu was also an educated man, and everyone in Ikolo admired education because not many villagers could send their children to school. The village had no school, and children who wanted to learn had to walk many long, tiring miles every day. Most villagers thought it was easier to just let their children become farmers or something else like a hunter. But deep down, they always admired and respected those who went to school. In the middle of the happy meeting, Adanne, Nduka's wife, asked quietly, feeling a little worried. But why didn't Elochukwu come here himself to ask for our daughter's hand? Shouldn't he be here? Ndidi quickly explained. He really wanted to be here today, but something very important stopped him at the last minute. He has already given us permission to do everything without him, and then bring Nkonye to the city when everything is settled. Ndidi smiled warmly, completely sure that Elochukwu would fall deeply in love with such a sweet and beautiful girl. After all, she thought confidently, who could possibly meet Nkonye and not fall in love with her? Nduka nodded happily. We will talk with our daughter. Then, we will tell you when to come again. The rest of the evening was filled with laughter, smiles, and excited chatter about the future. Later that same night, Nduka called his entire family together in their small cozy hut. When he told them about the marriage proposal, everyone became excited at once, except for one person, Nkonye. Her heart felt heavy, and suddenly she didn't know what to think. She had always dreamed of marrying a man she knew very well and loved deeply. She wanted to experience the kind of love in the stories Mama told them about the prince and his bride. Now, she was being asked to marry someone she had never even met. Many questions began to trouble her mind. What if he doesn't love me? She worried quietly to herself. Will I even like him? What does he look like? Is he kind or harsh? But soon later that night, when she was alone with her parents, she realized they were not interested in how she felt. In fact, all they intended to do was to convince her to marry Elochukwu. They began to tell her how lucky she was and how wonderful their marriage would be.
Imagine the beautiful life you'll have. Imagine how this will help our whole family. When you settle down, you can even help your brothers and sisters.
But what if he doesn't love me?
Kionye, my child, we raised you very well. Just love your husband, respect him, care for him, and always cook him delicious food. There is no man in this world who wouldn't love a woman who is caring and peaceful. Love doesn't always happen quickly. It grows slowly and beautifully over time. Trust me, you will find happiness and love together. You're so lucky, my dear, and we don't want you to miss such a wonderful chance.
It looks like the matter has already been settled in the hearts of her parents. That night, as Nkonye lay quietly on the hard wooden bed in her small hut, she stared at the dark ceiling, lost in her thoughts. Her heart was heavy with worry, and tears filled her eyes. Finally, she closed them and tried to sleep. As sleep slowly took over, she began to dream. She saw herself living a new exciting life in a big city far away. But beside her stood a husband whose face was hidden in shadows. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't see him clearly. All night long, her dreams were filled with questions and mysteries, leaving her heart anxious about the future she could not yet see.